So we're joined today by the wonderful Kaeto, who is performing at Manchester's Victoria Warehouse tonight.
So cool.
We've joined her backstage, and just off the back of the release of her mixtape intro. Kaeto, welcome to Manchester.
Hello, it's so nice to be in Manchester. Yeah, I actually went to school in Ilkley, so
Right.
not too far by. So I used to come to the Trafford Centre. That was a massive day out with my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
Still a massive day out going
Yeah,
there. It's,
yeah.
hectic. So you've just opened your tour with the last dinner party. What are your thoughts?
So
Getting back on
fun.
stage.
I love being on stage, and such a nice, receptive audience, such a well-dressed audience. And yeah, it's just such I've worked really hard on this set, and it's nice there's a lot of songs which I didn't have in the last tour that I went on that I'm able to play now. And new drummer, Louis, who's amazing. Yeah, it's just fun. I'm playing dress up and then like karaokeing. It's great. Yeah.
Perfect. So what can we expect in terms of the vibe for tonight?
I think there'll be some chainmail, maybe like an elven-esque hood, maybe some glitter, maybe some mystery. Yeah,
Sounds good.
definitely lots of fun.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. So the tour's coincided with the release of your new mixtape intro. What are your feelings now that that's out there? It landed yesterday, so it's really fresh. How are you feeling?
Definitely less dissociated today. And also I was with my mother yesterday. So being at my mum's house for the release was nice. But like, you know, when you're at your mom's house and you're kind of like, I'm trying to be like a cool grown up, and I'm still kind of like feeling like I'm just at my mom's house. So it's nice to be in Manchester. And but I love my mum. My mum's amazing. I'm definitely feeling excited about what's next, and really, really, really keen to get back in the studio and make more music. I've been kind of making, for the mixtape, I wanted to make a whole bunch of visuals and make it like a visual project as well. And I've had a huge amount of fun doing that. It's definitely a medium I really enjoy using, but I also haven't been, as a result, making as much music.
Okay.
So I'm very excited to make more music.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge you faced in putting the mixtape together?
Definitely choosing what songs to go together, like putting a ring around anything, because that's why I decided to make a mixtape, I think, because I felt like I'd been making music for such a long time and kind of like dripping and like drabbing singles and trying different things out. It was really hard to like connect pockets of the music that I'd made, and I felt like I wanted to sort of do a project that felt like an introduction to all the things I was exploring, and maybe didn't have as much of a conceptual through line, that when I make my first album, I'm really excited to explore doing that. That would be really fun.
Excellent. And I understand quite a bit of the mixtape was written in Seville.
Yeah.
How do you feel that sort of influenced the overall feel of the release?
I mean, just even by the colors of the the rooftop, we also, I think, writing outside, we started loads of ideas just on a kind of similar machine. Me with a handheld microphone, and just Matty with just a guitar, and so it was the feeling of like, I think there's a part of your brain that's engaged when you're looking at the horizon. When you look close at a screen, you have like a closed circuit way of thinking, and there's something about looking off and expanding your view that engages different parts of your brain. That's like meant to be really good for creative thinking. And so I didn't know that when we'd done this, but I really think that's why a lot of those we created so many ideas in such a short amount of time, I think, because of the environment that we were making them in. And also, like, I love Spain. I've lived there before. I speak good Spanish. I find everything about, especially Seville and Barcelona, like the colors and the culture is just so inspiring, and like there's so much community and and yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, you mentioned the creativity then. You've mentioned visuals. It's all very, very creative from different sides as well. How do you keep that creativity going? And if you hit a block, how do you get past it?
I feel like I have the opposite problem, where I tend to have more ideas than I have sufficient budget or manpower for, and I end up kind of running myself into the ground and like not fully managing to see certain things through. So I think it's more about like refining the ideas. I've got kind of like and then we could do this, and then we do this, and then we do this, and then we do this, and then I tend to be like, I think that's maybe why I've ended up making 8 videos, and like I have loads of fun, kind of that was fun, next thing. So I think slowing down and then kind of working within the limitations I have is the problem I face most.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you put it all together. You had this sort of writing spell in Seville. You put it all together. You recorded it. It's all done. The first time you listened back to it, what were your thoughts?
First time I listened back to it, I think I've listened to it so many times in so many different, because the track listing ordering process was so long. I had such like a staggered like response to it. But I definitely remember a moment when I think I'd happened to be going somewhere in Pimlico, and I lived in Pimlico when I was about 18. I'd like moved out and lived on my own at that age and was having a pretty terrible time. And I was doing music was all I had ever wanted to do, and I had no idea how to do it. And I think I had been feeling a bit like stressed and down about, because you tend to kind of close-mindedly start stressing over small losses or small like things that are affecting what you're doing, and you kind of forget to zoom out. And I was in Pimlico, and Carry You had just come out, and then I was listening to Carry You, and then realizing like I'd had this like full circle moment of being in that exact space, listening to, because I used to just listen to music and imagine music videos and think about what I could do, and then just pretend it was my song, and having never been in a studio and thinking, well, the boat's probably left, I'm never going to do music. And so I had this really nice moment of like, however I feel about anything that I'm doing, I've actually managed to make something and put it out and do what I've always wanted to do. So that was a really beautiful moment. So nice. Definitely, it's been very moving, and I've been very lucky that I've worked with so many amazing people, because there's a lot of people that are involved with making something like this, often like quite hidden people. Yeah. But I'm very, very supported and helped, and particularly by friends who are like incredibly talented and incredibly generous. So yeah. Awesome.
Now, as we mentioned, you're now on the road again.
Yeah.
How do you set about translating those tracks for a live audience?
It's been really fun trying to do that. Working with I've got a really amazing MD called Nathan. He was helping me with lighting notes. He really helped me with the arrangement of it live, and I guess it's just fun, particularly with new songs. I think it takes quite a few playing of them and like exploring different movement and seeing what feels nice. That's always really fun, and seeing songs kind of develop into this like sequence that feels comfortable, especially because I love dance and I love movement, and I love that's been a thing I've always done. But yeah.
Nice. Cool. Now, while you were up there, you mentioned that obviously there's all sorts of things that go into it when you're performing live, but what's actually going through your head while you're up there?
Sometimes just nothing. Sometimes getting this kind of really horrible loop where you're like, oh my God, pay attention. You like lost in a thought, and you're like, where am I? Oh no, you're on, like, you get this like really weird, like floating above your head, kind of like, are you listening? What are you meant to be singing now? Everyone's looking at you. I get this like weird loop of trying to stay present and in the moment, and not just kind of like half of my brain shut off. And then I don't know, it's nice to see people's faces. I always really like looking at people.
Yeah.
and seeing their faces, especially if I'm like a little bit backlit, then you see a bit more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there a particular track that resonates with you whilst you're performing it live?
Yeah, I tend to worry about what my body will look like when I come off and I see pictures of myself. And there's a song that I wrote called You're Mine, which is kind of about reclaiming your body from the idea that it should look like anything. And I had this idea of like being plopped on a desert island from birth. I don't think I would have ever developed any. I wouldn't have been like, well, I wish my thighs looked different. Like I just wouldn't have thought about that. So it's really nice kind of like claiming that perception or that the kind of removing the obligation from your body's appearance. And so it's nice that that's at the end of the set, because it kind of resets me to be like, it's fine. I look like what I look like, and I'm not gonna change my eating habits or my habits to fulfill some sort of standard which has been implanted into my brain by something else anyway. Yeah. So that one I really like, because it's kind of like, I'm good. Like perfect. My arms are they're just my arms. They're just my legs.
Perfect. Now you mentioned earlier about sort of getting back into writing now. Yeah. So the tour takes you through the next few weeks. Yeah. And then back in the studio, back with the pen and paper. Yeah. 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 Can you tell us any more?
Yeah, I'm hoping to maybe do another writing trip, and also probably work with some new people, but obviously work with Matty again, who I wrote all these things with. He's one of my best friends, so it's awesome. Really nice.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight. I'm sure it'll be absolutely amazing, and enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thank you. So nice to meet you.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.